I'm Jojo.
How do,
I'm an
okay.
artist. So.
Hi everyone. My name is Tunde Adebona. I'm a digital artist, a creative director, and a creative researcher. It's nice to meet everyone here.
Nice to meet you too. Hi everybody, my name is Sorple. I'm an illustrator and concept artist, and it's nice to meet you guys.
Okay. So how do you guys feel about like what we're about to do now? Like join a stranger based on the stranger's voice and maybe a little bit of the description.
Well, I think it's interesting actually, but I have a question. So, will the person be describing themselves like they will say, "Okay, I look like this," or we just have to come up with something based off what they are saying?
So based off what they're saying, we'll come up with something. But if you have questions, then you can ask. But like, don't ask something like, "Okay, describe yourself from A to Z," because now what's not the point of the of the challenge you get? So are we set?
All right.
Okay, so let's welcome today's stranger. Stranger, can you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Marieam. I'm a female. I think that should be obvious. Pronouns are she, her. If that's necessary, if that's needed. Please, I would love to have your questions. You can ask me anything, except of course about how I look.
Are we supposed to draw
question.
what she looks like?
Based off of the sound of my voice, yes.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to see what you come up with.
Okay, so like, what do you like to do for fun?
I like to I like to get ice cream. I don't eat as often as I should
Did you just say ice cream?
because I do enjoy food. I just don't have time for it. Yes, I always have. Everybody who knows me knows that I survive off of ice cream. If not for ice cream, I'll probably have disappeared.
Okay. So like, why ice cream? Like specifically, does it like remind you of? Is it nostalgic?
Yes, definitely nostalgic. One of my favorite childhood, all of my favorite childhood birthdays had ice cream. And I recently heard a theory about how when you really enjoyed something as a child, but it wasn't always available. When you have access to it as an adult, you tend to like consume a lot of it. So I think that's what's happening with ice cream.
Have you ever like tried to? Jojo, you have something to say?
Wait. So, guys, I'm like stuck. I'm like stuck in the class. I'm like currently at. I don't know. I'll have to like. I don't know.
Just it's chill. Just start when you're ready. So yeah, we were speaking about ice cream, and then you said you heard about like a.
I shared a theory that I think I take so much ice cream now because I liked it as a child, but it wasn't always available. So now that I have adult money, it's like might as well, you know. I have ice cream at least twice a week. I'm a freelance content writer, but I have a role at a supply chain company where I'm their content and brand awareness manager.
Odogu.
I also own a fashion business. Yes, where I run my own styling, consulting, design, and sewing service. So I do that. So I really love it. And on the side, I run a thrift fashion business with my girls, my friends. I think those are the things I can remember right now. I'm sure a few other things that I can't remember.
So
'cause I
like
do
you
a
would
lot.
consider yourself to be like a very busy person. You have like a lot on your schedule.
Always. Though I'm finding that that's not always the best thing. I started to realize that business and productivity don't exactly mean the same thing. So recently, I've been trying to streamline my schedule a bit to optimize it for productivity while having space for my friends and things that I
So
enjoy.
are you like more of like a family person? Like are you more of like a family friends oriented person or business first?
Well, I try to be family and friends oriented, but the truth is, I'm a huge. I love like my family and being around my friends when I can. But I love I love work because I like being able to afford things. So I'm very likely to choose work over like a social thing, except I properly plan for it.
You seem like extroverted, like like a social person.
Yes, I have been accused. I have been accused of being an extrovert.
Okay.
Okay. I'm looking
Hi,
forward to that as
Miriam.
well. Yes.
Do you prefer heels or sneakers?
Heels. I would have said sneakers a few years ago, but recently, the funny thing is, recently someone asked me that question, and I realized that I am now very much a heels person. I was a tomboy growing up. I was mistaken for a boy on multiple occasions growing up. Okay,
Person.
now I'm converted into what us. I should clarify that that's not the case now, but yeah.
Okay, so what celebrity style would you say fits what you like your appearance right now?
My aesthetic.
Yeah,
Oh,
aesthetic.
that's
Thank
hard
you.
because I'm. It's hard because I'm a bit of like a fashion enigma myself. Most of the stuff I wear are stuff I make, so that's a bit off. Usually during the week you'll find me in like t-shirts and sweats because I'm so used to it. I'm always relaxed. But on special occasions, I dress up. I When I'm stepping out, I'm dressing up. People know this. I will dress up. I love jewelry. I love clothes. I love accessories, and I really love shoes. I'm not much of a bag person, but I really like shoes. Especially, and the weird thing is, what got me into shoes was serving in church because I used to be in like the greatest department of my former church, and I just finished serving in ushering in my current church. And I had a leader who was really into shoes.
Hmm.
He was very, very much into heels. He would always call heels, and I hated it at first, but then I had to get used to it, and then I realized that I liked it. So now
He was
I
a
can run
guy.
in heels. He was a guy, weirdly enough. I started to think that something going on there.
What kind of aesthetics do you like for your brand? Like you wear your clothes, yeah. What's the vibe?
For the most part, I'm struggling a bit with it, a bit with defining exactly what my aesthetic is.
Okay.
Because I think I'm still very much discovering what I enjoy or like what my style personality is. I try a lot of things. So I'm stuck on that question. I'm not sure how to answer it. I would say a bit of I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Do you wear wig or natural? You go natural.
It depends. It usually depends. It depends on the situation. Depends on what I'm
But
feeling.
on
I play with my hair a lot, as much as I can.
okay,
I feel
like
like my hair is part of
African
the outfit.
hairstyle.
I feel like my hair is part of the outfit. So it depends if it's going to be weave or a wig or braids or anything. It depends on what I'm wearing or what mood I'm in.
What's your current body weight?
My current what?
Body weight.
Body weight. Huh. I don't think I can supply that information.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who asked that
I
question?
don't think I
I did.
Okay. I wanted to
The
be
only thing
sure.
I can tell you is that it has changed recently. The most change I've had in years happened this year. I'm not going to tell you in which direction it changed.
I'll figure it out myself.
I look forward to finding out how you know, figure that out. And this is not the year I started taking a lot of ice cream. Ice cream has been a tradition since 2020.
Okay. But
Yeah.
was this year you finished from school? Okay. Are you the last born?
No. People always think I am. I don't know. I guess I have last born energy, but I'm actually the firstborn. I just refuse to conform.
What does
So I'm very
conforming
much a
mean?
spoiled brat. So I see a lot of news about firstborn daughters and how they have like all the issues that were supposedly supposed to have. And I don't deny that, some of the stereotypes are in fact true. For me personally, I don't know what anyone else's experience is, but for the most part, any pressure or responsibility or my family doesn't care what I do. There's no pressure there whatsoever. But so I try my best to be, because I have a safe space at home. I try my best to remind myself of that and to be as much of a baby girl as I can allow. So while I'm very driven, very ambitious, and very strong-willed, I'm also very much at home in just the awareness that there's love at home. I can always be a
Uh,
baby. If I choose to be unemployed for like, I don't know, a few months, maybe a year, I don't know if you can stretch to a year. I think my mom would be fine with it. I think she would breathe a sigh of relief.
she wants you to relax and marry.
She really wants me to. No, no, she doesn't care about marriage. She's another weird thing. She doesn't stress me about marriage. She doesn't stress me about work or earning. I think because I've always just stressed by myself. She's always the voice of, Mama, don't grow up too fast, though. Don't grow up too fast. Slow down. Calm down. So I'm a bit of like a firstborn enigma. Very playful, but still quite self-owned.
Okay.
You might be able to even argue. Yeah.
Like in a leadership, in a
Yeah,
leadership
I'm listening.
position, would you be more of the you don't take nonsense type of person, or more of like, okay, you the opposite basically? I mean, you still get work done, you still get stuff done, but like,
I like that question. I think I would be more of the latter, even though I'm starting to see the usefulness of being a former. I've worked with a lot of female leaders, and at first I didn't get why they were so hard-handed, like to start with. A lot of them are no nonsense, until I started to realize that sometimes you actually just need to lay down the rules and bring down the hammer, because people can be tough to work with. But I'm very much that I just prefer to get things done. I don't like to stress.
Mm.
I don't like fight. I'm very non-confrontational, but I'm learning. I'm learning to just be more assertive, I think. I'm learning to be more assertive.
You like politics?
What would you do? What would you do if you become the president of Nigeria? What would be the first thing you do?
Oh my God. Should such a fate befall me, should such a fate befall me, the biggest thing I've always wanted to effect change in is always supply chain. Supply chain as
Mm.
regards distribution of goods and services, the economy and finances. I've always had a theory that the world's problem is largely a management problem. We have in everywhere in the world, our biggest issues are usually management issues, not a resource issue, not even a human resource issue. We have a problem of really, really bad management, and it's figuring out how things get to where they are most needed, where they can be employed to the highest and best use, as fast as possible.
Mm.
That's usually that's so I would be very much of an economist president.
So how do you do the supply chain thing?
So I've only just begun to really, really do my research and study in supply chain, especially because now I have a job that requires me to do that, which is great.
Okay.
I don't I do my best learning when I have to do the learning. But mostly looking towards building connectivity between industries. So the company I currently work for has is heavily into supply chain management, in that they act as an intermediary between companies that require goods and companies that manufacture them. That's the most simplistic way to put it. It's much bigger than that.
Okay.
So, but the thing is basically getting things to the places that they're needed as fast as possible, with as little issue as possible, and at the lowest cost possible. And it sounds weird that something that a service that sounds that simple might be what I think will change the world. But honestly, distribution of food is how we solve world hunger. Distribution of resources is how we fix I don't think world poverty can be completely eradicated. There will always be the poor. I just think we can change what it means to be poor. Now, poverty doesn't have to mean not having access to healthcare or education or basic shelter, clothing, and stuff like that. If we can lift the bar for what it means to be the least financially financially prosperous human, then I think we can make the world a better place. There will always be a gap, but we can change, what the baseline is.
Interesting. What's your opinion on capitalism?
My opinion on capitalism is that it was effected because it was necessary for its time. I feel like economic models will always evolve and change. I don't think that capitalism or socialism is like the one answer. I think that economic models must be adapted to solve the systemic problems in the places that they need to be addressed.
Mm.
But for Nigeria, I think we need capitalism with serious. I'm not capitalism in the way it's been practiced on the grand scale, but a capitalism of private businesses taking on city building themselves rather than waiting for the government. Because right now we need to all just be so for real. The government's not going to do shit.
What do you
Private
think is the?
entities
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry,
private entities
I'm like,
need to start seeing the profits in taking on city building, and the general public and citizenry needs to realize that if it can invest in city building, if it can be afforded opportunities to invest in city building, then everyone can profit from it.
So, what's the difference between that and the capitalism that's practiced on a global scale?
Knowledge. I think the biggest difference is knowledge. People don't know.
I honestly did not expect this conversation to become so like deep.
Apologies.
No, it's fine. It's actually fine. Do you like read a lot of like books on economics?
I do. I take in as much information as I can find, and I don't learn from just one medium. Like I don't just read texts and research. I read fiction. I can learn about economics from fiction, from the Bible, from conversations, from microeconomics and how a friend runs their business. There's so many ideas everywhere.
Interesting.
Mm.
That knowledge part, yeah. Sorry, the
Sorry.
knowledge part. You said the difference between the economics you propose and the economics that's practiced on large scale is
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
How does that work?
What I mean is,
Hope
hmm,
hope it's not too much. We can
no,
pivot
it's
to
not.
something simpler.
It's not too
Okay.
much. Well, I may not be able to provide as in depth
That's fine.
an explanation as might be needed. But however, I've realized that whenever systems are being critiqued on a grand scale,
Okay.
um, by people, it's usually because isn't there tends to be a huge amount of misunderstanding, and that's because for the large part, while there should be criticisms for certain things and certain systems, considering how the world has turned out, most people don't even know what they're arguing about.
Hmm.
They don't even really understand. We have the average person condemning capitalism without the awareness of why it started or what it does or what would happen if we did abolish capitalism. Because problems are systemic. We don't think linearly with solving problems on a grand scale. It's not just, oh, you plug one hole and the issue is solved. There's likely other leakages you've not thought about. So when people are complaining on such a large scale, and I hate to use this word, but when the masses complain about an issue, there's usually such there's generally usually such a large widespread lack of understanding on the matter. So I'm
Knowledge
not
gap.
saying that yeah.
The
So I'm not
knowledge gap.
saying
Sorry.
yes, a knowledge gap. I'm not saying capitalism is the solution. I'm saying that it worked for a reason. If people were aware that they could make that certain things could be profitable on a smaller scale. There's such an eat the rich philosophy that's going on right now. It's kind of scary because there's a huge is linked is right. A lot of them are selfish, horrible, opportunistic
Everybody
people. Well,
is.
they at least they did the work. What did you say?
I said everybody is selfish.
Yes, but everybody is self, and they actually did the work to get there. But the average person doesn't think that that kind of opportunity can even afford itself to them. So the solution is to immediately just go after whoever you think benefits the most from a certain unfair situation. When what we should be thinking is how can this profitable system that has profited very very few be tweaked, be boiled down, be brought down to a really small scale that can benefit the average person. How do we make knowledge on profitability, on economics and just finances more widespread and available to the average person? How can people understand that they can benefit from the businesses that they support? You buy salt every day. Have you ever considered buying stocks in the company that you patronize so often? Have you ever considered having asset options? Nigerians don't think like that. Have you learned about credit, how you can leverage it? Oh, sorry, how you can use it to leverage assets, how you can use debts to fund things other than personal purchases? Have you thought about money in a way other than, oh, I need it right now? Like, are you thinking forward? Because the reason why a lot of these people have the money that they have is because they're never thinking for now. Can we as a collective start thinking more holistically rather than thinking for one person, one moment right now for immediate personal needs? Knowledge. If people just were more aware of the fact that wealth is not as inaccessible as they think it is. If they just knew what to do and they did it right, then I think we could really work on bridging that gap. And there'll be more accountability too.
I think
There'll be
the
more
problem is way
transparency
more
with how we
complex, but I,
necessary.
I,
Yeah, it
I
is.
think
But I
you
think
have a
that's a
very
place to
strong
start.
understanding. Yes,
It's definitely
I,
way more complex, and I don't think the problem is simple.
I agree with you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I mean,
So
I,
what do you think about religion?
mm.
Yeah, it's going great at my so in Nigeria there's this belief that Nigerians are too religious, so there is this
Oh, okay.
brings about high rate of poverty. Do you think that is the case, or do you have
What?
any other thing?
I don't know
Like,
how this is going to be. I don't know how you are
yeah,
going to take this because the first thing I'm going to clarify is that I'm a very religious person.
okay.
I'm very factual. I believe a lot in empirical evidence and whatnot and what you can see. But I am also very,
Mm-hmm.
very spiritual. And I'm not going to use that to cover the word. I'm also very religious. I go to church. I do the whole 9 yards. I believe in God. I pray every day as much as I can. Try my best to pray every day. I'm going to say that and all of that. I think religion has its place, always has, and religion does a lot more than it is incredible. But because just in general, when you have a group of people that put a lot of that put a heavy premium on abdicating responsibility for their lives rather than on balancing the awareness that you believe in God, then you have to also believe that He created you with a mind and with some responsibility for yourself. Then you're gonna have such problems. You're going to have such problems.
1 more minute.
Uh
So, if you are not done, this is the part you pause and try to finish up as fast as possible. If you are done, then you can carry on because the stranger is about to turn on her camera. So yeah, make sure you tag the social media if you drew along, or follow if you like to be in other interesting challenges. All right, bye bye.
Hello. For me, from her description, she said she's very religious, so I wasn't looking into something so trendy. So I decided to go with the shirt, and she said she loves to wear shirts, and casually she will wear a normal hairstyle. And our favorite color, the two of our favorite colors are black, and I think she mentioned gold, green, and black. So I decided to go with the shirt and also to give her this natural look, the natural Yoruba girl look, and make it cute. I was actually planning to include an ice cream. I think she'll be holding an ice cream or something like that. Because of the time, so I had to make it look like she's saying ice cream or something like that. So that's basically it. I just came up with the pose. I just feel like she should be doing something like this. Yeah.
It's a bit calm, not in your face type of person. So I decided to make it more simple. And then you mentioned braids. You like to play with your hair. So I figured, let me just do that. There's this artist I follow. I think she's very popular, Louis Van Baal. She has. When I just discovered her, there was a type of hair she used to draw a lot. Then, so I was like, this seems like a hairstyle that ladies will go, or a direction ladies will go to when they want to play around with their hair and everything. And I picked it, and then I decided green by myself because I like green. And when we asked you, you said your mom used to buy you a lot of green stuff, so I felt like it worked. And then the pose, I was not sure which pose I was going to use before. But when you started talking about capitalism, you started talking about knowledge gap, government intervention, I was like, okay, this seems like someone that will sit down and have a proper conversation that has some level of depth. So I was like, okay, let me just how do I do? Let me use an approachable pose. So that was how I ended up with what I have.
Fair enough. Fair enough. A lot of interesting. It's so interesting to see just how you guys put together. But I would point at some things that are actually quite accurate. First of all, there's no way you could have guessed that I wear glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Adebona.
Adebona.
And I'm actually Yoruba. Usually on a normal day, you will find me when I'm in between hairstyles. You actually find me wearing all back. So that's quite accurate to how I usually am most of the time. And when I said shirts, I meant like t-shirts, not like button-ups. But that's fine.
Oh.
And I like the ice cream touch. That was really nice. But I like the gold earrings in your work, Sorple. I really like the gold earrings. Those are absolutely something I would wear. In fact, I have a pair right now. Even if I'm out to buy something, I'm going to wear gold earrings. But I rarely ever have my hair full. I always have it in one hairstyle or the other. When I'm in between hairstyles, it's really an all back. But that was nice. This was all very, very nice.